I intend to enjoy myself in this 45 minutes that you have given me, and I hope the favor is returned too. To jump right into the topic you've asked me to throw light on is something that plagues all Toastmasters: topic selection and scripting a speech. Actually, these are two very different things, though one has to follow another. Many times as Toastmasters, we are raring to go on our speech projects, and we offer to speak. Who's going to speak at the next meeting? Me. And we think it's just a 7-minute speech. What is so big about it? 7 minutes, just about 600 words should do. But then as the time approaches and there are just a couple of days to go, we realize that far from things, and that is selection of a topic. You will agree with me that selection of a topic is like a starting trouble for us. Once that selection is over, it's like a waterfall. All the ideas and the words come flowing on paper. It is the selection of the topic sometimes that plagues us more than the actual writing of it. So we have the whole world in front of us actually, and so many issues to choose from. That is why I guess that it takes a lot of trouble to make a decision, because there's such a lot of choice. If somebody told us you have to choose between A, B, and C, we are all used to that. We are Indians. We are used to having only 3 multiple choices, not used to more. So when there is such a lot of choice, my mind jumps from one topic to the other. So let's look at some tips on how to arrive at a topic. This is, dear Toastmasters, this is not anything new or anything that you don't know. Yet, I am only helping you to recall some of the thoughts that are always dormant in us. So let me start with the first. Anu, I hope you have given me co-host, right? I would like to share this with you, the soapbox. You just see that word, the soapbox there. Dear Toastmasters of Kottayam, what does this mean to you? Have you heard of soapbox issues? Have you heard of soapbox in connection to speaking? Anyone? You could unmute and just shout out your answers that way, if you have something in mind.
Heard in connection to the movies, old movies. Heard in connection with old movies, soapbox stories.
Yes, yeah. Master Shaji, I wish that were attempting to answer. Thank you. Anybody else? Or else I'll just continue. I don't see any answer. All right.
Can I say something? It was to Hyde Park in England, where a small box used to be put up, and anyone who wished to could come there and talk his heart out or her heart out.
Trust Urmila Shetty, DTM Urmila Shetty, to jump right into the arena and say, this is it. It is it. Let me to continue from where Urmila left off. The soapbox issues are those concepts, thoughts, ideas, topics where you spontaneously can speak. I'm not saying from a podium, but imagine you are among a group of friends, your relatives or your own friends, or a couple of people whom you know very well, and that topic comes up. You realize that you can keep on speaking things because you have thoughts about that topic without any preparation. No preparation. And it is not even like a table topic. These are deep-seated ideas in your mind that you connected with yourself as you read a newspaper, as you heard a TV sitcom or news, or you were on social media, or you did something. There are thoughts on this particular topic that you have that don't need any tutoring. These are called soapbox issues. Now, how many times have we not preached on soapbox issues to friends? Now we have a captive audience. It could be fitness, it could be state of the roads, it could be family, it could be diet, it could be herbal remedies, it could be films, TV, vehicles, apps. My question is, what's your funda? What is it that spontaneously brings out something from you till a point where somebody says, hey, who asked you for this? Nobody is asking for your opinion. I'm not saying this has happened, but you are able to go on. Mine are, to give you an example, mine are patriarchy and Hindi movies. If somebody gives a patriarchal statement saying, for example, if I go to Hindi movies, they say, chudiyan pehno, for somebody a man who is not very courageous, let's say, as if meaning to say, you have become a woman and without any courage and without any guts. So you put bangles on. Now, this is a very patriarchal statement, misogynistic statement. And something inside me wells up to say, what do you mean by that? Another topic is, let's say, Hindi movies. I've been watching movies from the time I was 5, and I can remember a lot of things about movies. And when some discussion comes up, I too want to participate. Nobody asked me, but I want to participate. I think I know. Whether I know or not, I don't know. I think I know. But the thing is, they've gone into my bloodstream now, and I can speak. So these are my soapbox issues. Dear Toastmasters of Kottayam, I now want to spend just 1.5 minutes to ask you if you have soapbox issues, which means you have some topics on which things will come up like that. The thoughts will come. Just unmute yourself and just shout out the issues. Let's see. I told you, mine are patriarchy and Hindi movies. What are yours? Do you have one?
Hindi movies.
Hindi
Story
movies,
of my
okay.
wife.
Gender-based
Story of my
violence.
wife. Oh my God, it's a little dangerous, but we will take you for your word for it. Yes. Anybody else?
Gender-based violence.
Pardon?
Gender-based violence.
Okay, gender-based narrations, I think is what ma'am said. Yes, thank you. Yes,
Science,
anybody else?
Science.
Pardon?
Science.
Science. Oh God, yes, yes. Our counter, TM Anu. Yes, science.
The future is not the way it used to be. The future is not the way it used to be.
Rather a tough thing, like a contrarian thing. You're going to eat like this. The future is not the way it used to be. Lovely, thank you. Yes. Anybody else? Any topic that you would like to? Automobiles. Yes, yes, yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Mine is a taboo here, politics. I'm very interested in it.
Yes. And who told you it's a taboo? We'll deal with it later. Yes, you said politics.
Yeah.
Just 10 seconds more for people who want to pipe in. Anybody? Anybody? Yes, Balla.
Me.
Yes, Balla. Yes.
Yeah, I'm very fond of talking about the matrilineal system of inheritance.
Matrilineal system of inheritance. Yes, it is as if I know him. So, if something comes up, it is as if he's all guns ready to speak. Since I know him, I can say that. Yes, that is a soapbox issue with him. Yes, 1 or 2 people, one more.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yes.
Yes,
The discrimination to the physically and mentally challenged people. We think
Yes.
we are above them.
Yes, yes, yes. Physically and mentally challenged people and how we deal with them, how we treat them. Yes. Yes, Anup Nair. How about women empowerment? Yes, yes. If it is your soapbox issue, let it be. Yes. So I think we have heard many topics, innovation. Some have given it on their chats. As I read it, I will tell you. Some like to speak on science, on innovation. What I mean is, these are things that are there in us. These are ideas. These are concepts that are waiting to jump out. And it is not only one. From one, we can go out. We can branch out to so many things. Thing is, have I delved into my soapbox for my topics? That is where I am. That is where my blood boils. That is where I feel very happy. That is where I want to jump on the topic. That is me. So for that, I have to understand myself. I have to be friendly with myself. I have to be with myself. I have to ask myself, what is it that makes me feel happy in my own skin? What is it that makes me feel I can speak on this even if I'm alone? These are the questions we will have to ask ourselves. I don't need to be pushed to speak on this. So look at our own soapbox issues. I thank you for bringing these up. I hope this thought of soapbox issue will stay with us when we are thinking of topics. Of course, let us go on to the next thing, that is, right, this is it, the virtual world. Of course, there is nothing we can do to escape this virtual world, isn't it? Are we tuned into what is happening around us? As members of a club in Kerala, which is very highly politically aware, I mean, I'm saying this with a lot of pride, and I'm saying this with the hope that many others will emulate the people of Kerala in this regard. I know what I'm speaking because my former director was a Keralite, and I used to understand how his life, how his childhood was when he used to speak about it. And I wished that people of Karnataka, at least we're at the border, so we sort of like to emulate that, also follow that. We have to be aware, not only politically, but in all other ways. So the thing is, are the things that happening around us bringing out a sort of response in me? Are they triggering some emotions in me? Are they bringing up thoughts that are worth discussing? For example, if we take this, the last 3 months, we were plagued by only one incident, you will agree. The whole nation, and I was, the word nation itself is now not a word I like to say because it comes up in one of the channels, they call it nation. Okay, the whole country was talking about the so-called suicide of one film star. And there were so many things that came out of it. And you won't believe, in the 3 months from the time that came up, I've heard many speeches about it. It was not only on suicide. There were thoughts that emanated from it. How, let's say, women are hounded. I remember one person saying, there are this topic of drugs, this film star, this lady is being hounded. It's as if, in my own office, they said, as if all the men friends that he had would only, let's say, eat grass. Only the ladies, I suppose, took drugs and other things. So they have to hound ladies. That's a thought. That's a thought. And when you're angry about something, you can speak about it very well. For 7 minutes, what is there not to talk? So, and then there was thoughts about success, the price we pay for success, and 24/7 news channels, why they are being like this. So these are thoughts that come from the virtual world. And of course, then we had one life-changing, let's say, event, happening incident, whatever you want to call it, the pandemic, the lockdown, and our responses to it. I'm sure your club also had many topics on that. Why I bring it up is that we have to be people who are aware of what is happening in the virtual world. It could be online shopping, it could be freedom of expression that is so much under, let's say, conflict now. So these are things that we need to look into, the virtual world, or let's say current events. And then let me go on next to something that is close to my heart, let's say. My world, where is this? Okay, it's this, my world. From the virtual world, we come to my world. And that is your life incidents. Incidents that have had an impact. Maybe a person, a teacher, a friend, a neighbor, an enemy. They've made enemies in school, school and college. Hopefully we've not made them afterwards. I remember a speech that one of our members gave us. It was a life lesson. She told us that when her mother moved from her estate house to her house, she was going through the things in her mother's cupboard. And she said, I found packets of bed sheets, saris, and other clothes that had not been opened at all. They were in their packets. And I found mementos, which I didn't know what to do. Do I throw them out? Do I keep them? It was such a conflict for me. And then I realized, dear friends, that I can't keep them. There is no place in my house. Then I asked myself, what about the memories? And then I realized, Memories don't lie in things. Memories lie inside us. I don't need something from my mother's house to remind me of my mother. My mother's memory lies in me, not in a thing. I'm telling you, I got goosebumps when I listened to that. And several times after that, when I see something in my house that I'm supposed to throw, I don't want to throw. I remember Gita's speech, throw. I just want to get rid of it. I've told Gita, your speech, Gita, it has stayed with me. It has gone into my bloodstream, and I am a better person because I have listened to that speech. So what is it she did? She just shared an incident. I don't think she realized the impact that she had on others when she just spoke about her topic was shifting from my mother's estate to my flat. That was it. But the learning came from that. So life's incidents and a commute to the office. There was this fellow who told us how he, hangs on to something and, the way when the bus halts, he has to travel in front. He goes in front and he comes back. And he held on like this. And he did a lot of things that made us laugh. It was just a commute. How many of us have realized that our daily commute is full of stories? Of course, these days, if you're driving, you cannot have any other story except what is happening in front of you. But if you're not driving, if you're in a bus, then you keep your eyes open. Earlier, I remember, we become better speakers, I want to tell you, only when we keep our eyes and ears open. When I got married, at a young age, one day my husband asked me, see that person on the way to our house, he's not there today. Every day I see him. So I remember saying, which person? Who? Why? So I said, I wasn't aware of it. He said, that person who sits there in that shop every day. I said, I don't have very superior, I acted very superior and said, I don't have the habit of looking this side and that side. If I'm sitting in a vehicle, I just sit by myself. He just looked at me, but he didn't say anything. But then I thought about it and I wondered if that was the right thing to do. I do remember after that, next day looking to see who this person is that he's saying, not only to answer him, but to tell myself, we have to be open. We have to keep our eyes and ears open for sights, for sounds, for experiences, for behaviors that, have an impact on us. Somewhere it will be a topic for a speech. I remember last week, there was there's a young chartered accountant in my club. When asked to give a speech, he gave a speech on Bitcoins. His experience on learning that Bitcoin, we had only heard the name, many of us, not all. Experiences in life. If you can't remember your own stories, call a relative and speak to that relative. That relative will remind you. Many years back, you said this, and I said this, and then this happened. There'll be stories about your own life that our relatives will remind us. We may not remember. Our friends will remind us. Think of all the stories, and that will become wonderful material for us, dear friends, when we are speaking. And these stories bring out learning also. Think of stories that shaped you. It is our life experiences that shaped us, right? What we are today is because of the people we came across, the schools we attended, the lecturers we liked or disliked, the friends we liked, the friends we did not like, the colleagues we admired, the colleagues we decided, I will never be like this. I will learn from this person how what not to be like this. All these are experiences that that shape us, that frame us, and let us be open about these experiences when we come to Toastmaster. There will be no other, let's say, forum for us to speak about our experiences. So from the soapbox where we have things, and to the virtual world where there is there are current events, to my own world. And remember, experiences need not be mine alone. They can be somebody else's experience that you have transformed into yours. If you think your life will probably hold that as well. You may not have had exactly that experience, but tune it, regulate it to put yourself into that. You must feel comfortable speaking about it, that's all. From here, I'd like to take you to one topic that, let's say, we don't generally talk about, the taboos. So what are the taboos of, supposed taboos of Toastmasters? Our Sergeant at Arms, I think one of you spoke about that.
Sex, politics, religion.
Sex, politics, and religion. Sometimes I think, if not for these three, what kind of life would we have lived? Without sex, without politics, without religion, what else is there? Of course, there are a lot of things. I'm not saying there aren't. My point is, Toastmasters does not say do not speak about it. It is the propriety of being in public, of expressing yourself and communicating to a group of people that makes us wonder how we have to tackle these topics. It does not mean don't touch them at all. It only means exercise restraint. Be appropriate when you talk. See, culturally we are different people. There are, if you want to talk about, let's say, politics, does it mean we don't use the word politics? That word itself should not be used. No, it doesn't mean that. It only means don't take the name of a party. Don't be specific. Don't target any political group. But if you want to speak about the philosophy of somebody, what is wrong with speaking about Karl Marx, for example? What is wrong in speaking about Jayaprakash Narayan? What is wrong in speaking about capitalism? These are all economics, no doubt about that. But then when it comes to the way a country is governed, it is politics. There is nothing wrong in speaking about it. Don't go into the specifics of it. Be respectful of sensitivities. Avoid, let's say, anything that may sound like an obscenity or a profanity. There are clubs that deal with these issues. I believe there's a club in California. Did you know? It is called Toastmaster Taboos Club in California. And you will not guess what are the topics they speak. They speak only on 3 topics. Guess what? Which one? Politics, sex, and religion. It's called Toastmaster Taboos Club. But the issue is they speak about it in such a way that they learn to deal with these topics should they come across these topics in another club. Remember, we will not always be talking in Toastmasters. We will be talking beyond Toastmasters. Is there anyone among us who does not look forward to speaking beyond Toastmasters? And who gives us the training to speak there? Toastmasters gives us. And if we don't touch upon these at all, how will we deal with these topics? So we will have to learn to mention them, touch and go, just touch and go, that is all. So there is one club called politically something Toastmasters, politically aware, I think I've written it down somewhere. Politically speaking Toastmasters, I jotted it down somewhere. I believe it's in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. They speak only about one topic. Politics. They learn to deal with it. It's a minefield, right? Because politics is, especially today, somebody has said in a subtle way we can mention, no doubt about that. As I was saying, politics is very polarized today. The world itself is polarized. So it's a minefield. Politics is a minefield. Be careful. But that itself teaches us how to deal with these things. And if it is religion, we're all very, very touchy about religion, dear friends. That doesn't mean that we don't touch it at all. If we speak in a general way of how no religion teaches violence, let us never think that any religion does that. The yellow flag, I think that is 25 minutes. Am I right? Okay. So this is how it is. It doesn't mean don't touch it at all. Just see how it could be perhaps accepted in a group that you know. Now you know your club. So don't talk of specifics. glide, touch in a subtle way and go. Toastmasters doesn't tell us don't do it. Let us train ourselves to do it. So if you've looked at taboos, let us now look at the actual framing of it. When it comes to framing a speech, dear friends, I think two things are very important. That is, I'm coming to the writing of it, the opening and the ending. I know you will think this one is being very, very superficial when she says that. But believe me, once they applaud and you come back to sit on your chair, it is the last two sentences that they will remember. And of course, how you open, because how you opened makes the listener, let's say, ready or to be in a state of exhilaration to understand this is possibly what will happen. Let me see what it is. So let me just quickly put up what I have for you for a beginning. So the first one is, of course, a story. There is no doubt about that. A friend of mine started her speech one day with this story. Just listen. She said, I was in the 5th standard and the school attendant came to my class and whispered something in my teacher's ear. She looked at us and she said, Nayana, you need to go to the principal office with your bag. You need to go home. I remember even as I listened, my hair stood on end. It was like a horror story. Why would anybody come to us to take us home? And we were right. There had been an accident in her house, and she was telling us how she went home and she understood that there was an accident and her family members somebody had a brain injury and how she came out of it. Took a couple of years for all that and all that. But the way she started it really made us, stare at her. So a story. Our lives are full of stories. Start with a story. The only point is we have only 7 minutes, remember? So your story should not be beyond 1.5 to 2 minutes. Now, this story that I told you, it was just about 3 to 4 sentences, the beginning. And then she went on to how the trauma of brain injury and coming out of it, which I cannot remember for nuts. I can't remember what she said. But I remember feeling that anxiety as she started that story. So we get engaged by thinking of our own life stories. What happens is, dear friends, we think we're not very important people, that our stories may not be very interesting. But believe me, everyone's story is interesting because everyone's story is different, a little different. The story may be the same, how it started, how it ended, how it proceeded, how long for. All these are things that are different in each one of us. So let me now bring you to this one. A point of view. Yes, a point of view. Now, you start with a point of view. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk about a very disturbing question which has equally disturbing answers. My topic is 24/7 news channels. And the question I want to ask is, do we require these news channels? This is a terrible thing that has happened to society. I wish I was not living in a time where there are 24/7 news channels. I have strong reasons to say, what have I done? I have taken a stand in the beginning itself. So you are not creating any suspense in the minds of the viewers, but then you are making the viewers come with you because many things that you say may also be some things that people say. As you're proceeding with it, bring current events into it because that is important. So take a point of view on many things. It makes it into, in 7 minutes, you can give maybe 3 reasons for why you think something is good or something is bad. You don't have more time than that to begin something and end it. The next thing that I'd like to take you is, I think, yes, this one. Imagine the power of visualization. Imagine you're driving down a ghat road. It's very dark. It has started raining. There are no other vehicles on that ghat road. It's only you who's driving. Only the sound of crickets can be heard. Suddenly your phone rings and you bend down to pick the phone and bam, You have banged against an elephant. So what you're doing is that magic of the word imagine. You have not said, I was driving down. You have asked them to come with you. So take your participants, your listeners on a journey of visualizing something. Use the senses. Give in that thing. You can give the fear of the smell of fear. You can give darkness, the light. You can give the sound of crickets only. So these are certain things that you have to fill into your speech. But take your viewers down or your listeners down a path.